Marcellus, are we letting Baker Mayfield get away with something that is he getting a pass for his attitude?
I really take exception with the word pass because it shouldn't even be in existence. If you think about it, individuality needs a license to actually be exercised. That's just ludicrous in its meaning. But we have seen excessive criticism for other quarterbacks, whether they're black or white. We obviously know you talk about Cam Newton, you talked about Colin Kaepernick. Wearing a hat backwards wasn't quarterbackial at the time. What the hell was that? But then we also saw Aaron Rodgers take some heat with discount double checking. Brett Favre wasn't always likable. So I don't think it's just defined by race. But, yeah, he's getting a different type of pass. But if we're going to go with the word pass, I like it. I'm with it. You know why? Because you shouldn't be able to tell someone else how they need to perform based on their personality. We shouldn't marry the two. I've seen nice guys, choir boys, sorry as hell. I've seen war paint dudes early to practice, late to leave, film study, sorry as hell. And then I've seen dudes arrogant, Hennessy, whiskey, coked up, baller. I mean, look, I'm not trying to say I like their behavior, but you know what? There wasn't a marriage between how nice and how accepted you were as a person versus what type of player you were. And now we're trying to go here on the Baker Mayfield and say, we don't necessarily like what you're doing, so therefore we're going to all of a sudden say we're going to look at your performance different. Now, why does he get a pass? Because those same exact actions in the not so far distant past, guess what? We killed him. We killed Cam for a dab.
Are you sure we killed him?
We killed Cam for a dab.
I think we exaggerated.
Okay, we had a lot more noise and attention for Cam with a dab and handing a football to a kid than we do for a guy who's staring down his coach and calling him a quitter and fake and all those things. So I'm just saying in that world, that realm, I will say that slightly he's getting a pass.
For me, it's his personality. I could care less if he gets a pass. Be who you are. And I think that's the most important thing. But what Lil Smokey has to understand is this. As soon as he's playing well, and we're bringing, he gets talked about on TV on every station because of the way he acts and the way he's playing.
Right.
He's playing extreme. As soon as he starts playing bad, oh, man, it's an avalanche. He's going to get talked about so much to where he's going to feel the pressure to change. He doesn't feel any pressure to change because he's playing well. He's doing what he's supposed to do on the field. And when you play well on the field and you do your job the right way, you can care less what anybody has to say. That's why I could care. That's why he said it, because he's playing well. He's feeling himself. As soon as he starts to, and he's in a division where every week it's a good defense, minus Cincinnati. You're going to play Pittsburgh twice, great defense. You're going to play Baltimore twice, great defense. He's going to have some adversity. It depends on how he handles it moving forward to where we determine how we continue to talk about him.
I mean, I think he's getting a little bit of a pass, but at the same time, I'm with TJ. As long as he's going out there and performing, he could do whatever he wants to do. Right now in this league, it's hard to get to a quarterback and make him realize the things you just said, I'm going to punish you for, because they done made it to where the quarterbacks are so protected. So the NFL and the way people want to see ball played, they have done that for a person like Baker to actually go out there and be cocky and say the things that he's saying, where normally, you know, you go out there, you're respectful, you show respect, and you say, you know, what you don't really mean. You sugarcoat it on interviews. Now he's saying whatever he wants to say, because now you can't go and smash that quarterback and drive your shoulder into his gut and try and pop a rib or something. You can't go and smack him.
Big Smokey.
Hey, I'm just telling you, you can't go and, you know, hit him from the backside and lay all your weight onto him.
But to TJ's point, that's not the only avalanche of criticism. And I want to push back on TJ's point, not at TJ, but that's in existence. It's fear-based. All of a sudden, Baker Mayfield has to temper his behavior because one day you're going to face adversity. And in that one day, you don't want the shoe on the other foot, and you got to deal with it.
Everybody gets served humble pie, and he will get served.
And guess what?
His.
Everybody. So it don't matter how you come at it, the pie is going to get served. Nathan Peterman, I don't know. He sounds like a nice guy. I don't know his personality. Maybe an amazing person. Boy, say that name in the NFL universe and see what happens to him. And that's what being a nice guy. So if you're Baker Mayfield.
But Nathan Peterman played like trash.
That's
Baker
my
Mayfield
point.
is balling.
That's my point. So no matter how you act, it's all performance-based. So why are we going to marry the two?
Well, listen, I'm very consistent on this. And again, I like his performance. He's playing at a high level. I think he needs to tone down some of the smoke. I don't like the way he's kicking Hugh Jackson while he's down. Do I know all the history between him and Hugh Jackson? I don't. But he's putting a clown suit on Hugh Jackson and making it, diminishing Hugh's reputation. Look, Hugh, the 1-36 or whatever the record was in Cleveland, does a lot of damage. But I wish that Baker Mayfield would tone it down. I'm consistent in this in terms, I'm seeing people try to play the race card on Baker Mayfield, and I just don't think it applies. I go back to the guy I grew up with and played high school ball, junior high ball with, Jeff George. This dude got crushed over his personality. Yeah. Crushed and killed over his personality. He could sling the football, and he had some great years in the NFL. But the media ate him alive. It happens to anybody. And as far Baker Mayfield, Colin Cowherd, Mark Schlereth, others in the media have criticized this dude consistently. I don't think he's getting a pass at all. I think guys like me, guys like Cowherd, Schlereth, hey, man, tone it down. This league will humble you, and you can't let anger drive you your entire career.
Let whatever drives you, as long as you get there, drive you your entire career. I will say this. He's not getting a pass in the traditional sense, but there's a slight pass, and you just gave him one in your own essay. I caught two terms that was just interesting to me when you're talking about a white quarterback. Look, we know that white quarterbacks have been criticized. I remember Steve Young got criticized because he ran too much. I was like, Steve Young? And that's when he was going back and forth with Joe Montana. And then they were like, the gorillas on his back. He can never win the big one. That was Steve Young, Hall of Famer. So here's two things that you wrote in your own essay that made me say, this is a little different. He lived in 4 different rental properties. Where I'm from, they just say you lived in apartments. But, he lived in rental.
That was his senior year, man. He done had a good life. That's 1 year, man.
I'm just saying, hold on. Brother like me lived in 4 different apartments, but he lived in 4 different rental properties. I'm going to let that slide. You had another one, Jason. Peep this one. He lives with his mom's parents. That's Big Mama, where I'm from. That's his grandmama house.
That's his grandmama house.
But he lived in his mom's parents, and we live in Big Mama house. I'm just saying, that's just
Let me give you the facts on where it came from.
Where?
Because I'm doing all the research and trying to figure out his backstory. I took the rental property straight from somebody else's story.
I know.
That's how they described it.
My
rental
point.
That's what I said. And live with, I'm using his lingo. He wasn't at Big Mama's house.
All right, she could be Little Mama there, but whatever.
He was at Nana's house.
Okay, same thing.
See how it is, just a little different. But look, the way James Harrison played the game, man, you brought smoke and you balled. Hey, you were Teflon to a lot of the criticism because of your performance. I just see that our shield is always our performance.
But it's a different position.
Yeah.
When you're an outside lineman,
I also didn't
playing the
talk reckless
Steelers,
like that, though.
playing the Steelers, he came off as,
come on,
don't
now,
mess
you
with
can't
me.
pull
He
up one
came
thing.
off. He's a quarterback. We've never seen a quarterback do what Baker Mayfield is doing. And he hears the criticism because he responds to everything. And it's when he starts playing bad, it's just they're going to pile on him and pile on him. And it's how will he react? How will he handle that?
What he's doing is almost Deion Sanders-esque.
Right.
At the quarterback position.
At the quarterback position. We've never seen it.
I think it's a lot harder at the quarterback position for you to do that because you're relying on a lot of people to make sure that you're able to do your job.
Exactly.
And that line in Cleveland is not really that Pittsburgh Steelers line that's going to protect like they do with Ben. So he's adding pressure to them along with whatever he says. So it's kind of an add-up.
But isn't that weak? Like, we need to create likability to protect us from our fall. Like, that's all we're saying to Baker Mayfield. Chill out a little bit because when adversity hits and you will fall down a rung or two, make sure you have a softer landing. That's what it sounds like.
I think the standard's different in terms of some people just like, hey, man, do the right thing. Now, it has nothing to do with the fall. It's just like, hey, man, that thing you're doing to Hugh Jackson is distracting us from the fact you're about to tie or break Peyton Manning's record.
See, I didn't even know that until now.
Yeah, you're the little undersized quarterback who's about to set the football world on fire. I don't need to be talking about your beef with Hugh Jackson. You beefing down.
Okay.
You're about to be the biggest star in the league, and you beefing with a 1-32 coach? You beefing down.
I will challenge the audience to separate the signal from the noise and know what's real from fake. And I also challenge the same audience that didn't know that as a fact to look at it like this. Hugh Jackson, and I'm not just going to talk about him, coaches in general, have cut cut players in midnight hours. I've seen a coach take a player, star player,
moving the goalpost.
quarterback. Let's go to our State of the Union season ticket holder meeting. That's our starting quarterback. Get on the bus, cut him. In that moment, after they sell some season tickets. Point being, coaches do some ruthless things well.
There's no question, Marcellus, but you just moved the goalpost because, again, what I'm talking about is Baker Mayfield doing the right thing, not protecting himself when there's adversity. He is diminishing Baker Mayfield. This kid and what he's done in Cleveland. Cleveland hasn't had a winning record in a decade, and a rookie quarterback is about to take him there with a Peyton Manning-type performance as a rookie. We're talking about all his little beefs, and they're asking him every day, were you staring down Hugh Jackson and all this other stuff? He's putting shine on Hugh Jackson. But Hugh Jackson's done. He's a laughing stock. This would be like arguing with Rich Kotite.
Look, this whole punch down thing is an interesting, separate conversation. But I do like the TOs of our world. I do like the Deion Sanders. I like the smoke givers, and then they just got to go in there and say, take
Ain't nobody's I think
I like that.
It's not a fact of liking or disliking. Mm-hmm. It's as a quarterback, you don't do these type of things because adversity's going to hit him. Now, when adversity hits him, he's going to shut up. And now you're going to say, oh, he's not being himself now.
But it's not about adversity. He's going to be the same guy all the time.
So if he's playing bad, he's not going to stare anybody down after he throws a couple interceptions.
Yes, oh, yes, he will. Go check his college history. This is, to me, if I was advising him, if I was his dad, James, whomever, it's about, why does Baker Mayfield want to be polarizing? Why doesn't he want to be... And again, I think
that chip.
Again, maybe that's his motivation, taking everybody on. He wants to be the heel. But again, there's more money and more upside in that position in the one being the undersized guy that everybody loves.
Well, how do you know that? Because we've never seen somebody do it this way. So we don't know what the cap is in terms of popularity. And polarization worked in boxing and many other sports. Floyd Mayweather.
No one beat Floyd.
No one beat Floyd. And Floyd, no one beats him in the talking game as well.
Jalen Ramsey did that this year, though.
I got put
did he not?
Hold on.
Jalen Ramsey was talking. As soon as Jacksonville started getting their head beat in, he shut up.
But hold on. You just said that he's a quarterback, so that's not what they do.
They don't.
But you're a wide receiver. You weren't a diva. How come you didn't live up to what y'all supposed to do? You don't have to stay in that box.
That's mostly aberrations. Again, the Deions, the divas, they get all the attention, but that's not the overwhelming majority of guys in the NFL. Most guys...
Select few.
Yes.
Position has to dictate personality. That's what I'm...
No.
Stop it.
No. What? I'm saying he's doing the wrong thing for the long-term play. He needs to find a different emotion other than anger to play with, particularly at the quarterback position. If I'm a defensive lineman, defensive end, I'm going to play with a lot of... If I'm on that defensive side of the ball, I think anger can take you a long way. On the offensive side, it's more...
I'm glad you weren't Eminem's manager, because you would have gave him bad advice. We would never got
the rap game.
You just said he's Eminem. I'm glad you weren't his manager.